Alright. Laptop did not work. Did not work. So go figure. I'm here. Guess I'm gonna have to use my phone. Hey Debbie. My phone's being dumb, so there we go. So who else we got in here? I know Pinder was here briefly. Boulder was here briefly. I threw out the invites, Debbie, but yeah, laptop messed up. So now I'm back to my phone. So hopefully, thanks, Debbie. That would be awesome. Since it screwed up the first time around. Hey, David. Just gonna let the room fill up a little bit, and then I'll talk about what our topic is. Since the old laptop decided to crap out on me. Hey, B West. Thank you. Appreciate it. That would be awesome. Boulder, it crapped out. My laptop just said, heck no. It said screw me, and so I gave up on it. So that's that. So waiting for the thank you. I would appreciate it. That would be awesome. You among others. I can at least watch from my laptop the chat so that I can keep up with you guys. That's one plus. Andrew Kelly, that's cool. I appreciate it. That totally works for me. B West, thanks. She's doing good things. Other than I can watch myself on my laptop. At least see the chat. That's the plan anyway. Okay. Alright guys, so back to our topic. I know Pinder was trying to catch me. He's got plenty of work to do. I appreciate him like coming by. Appreciate Sergeant Peterson. Good to see ya. Alright, so off to our topic. In case you needed to bug in. It's kind of funny because I can hear myself as a delay. Hey, Sparky. So, you're bugging in. Make sure you have all your materials, starting with your tool to turn off your utilities. So this is your gas and potentially water shutoff tool. Let's see, I'm gonna like mute myself here because this is ridiculous. I can't put up with that. There we go, that's better. So, you got your gas shutoff tool. Make sure you have it handy. Don't have it buried in your garage. Yeah, I already muted the computer. Make sure you have it handy, like hanging off the door, so that you can shut off your gas in case that problem happens. Same thing if you need to shut off your water during that type of situation, because those are part of your sanitation and safety issues. Also with sanitation and safety issues, make sure you have a means of staying clean. Same thing. If there's a medical issue, make sure you have some wash to clean up any wounds. Make sure you have your first aid kit available. Decent size first aid kit, because depending on the size of your family, like Boulder in your case, depending on the size of your family, there might be lots of wounds, there may not be any wounds. But you got it available just in case. Make sure you maintain plenty of this. Plenty of TP. Because if you're bugging in, that falls under your sanitation. Well, if the water's not working and the toilets aren't working, you can use a trash can. Yeah, reading glasses if needed. You can use a bucket and line it with trash bags. Make sure you have either masking or duct tape in case you need to cover up your windows. Black trash bags in case you need to deal with trash, because sanitation also breeds disease. If you don't take care of your sanitation issues, you could have a problem. Make sure you have adequate drinking water. 1 gallon per person per day is a minimum. That is a minimum. There you go. Canned food. A little bit of canned tuna in case you need it. Or some black beans. Or some instant rice that you can microwave. Oh wait, we don't have a microwave. But you just got to be able to heat it up. This stuff, you can work over a gas stove. You can heat it up because there's alternative methods for prepping and turning these things up. Because it's also got a prepping it in a skillet. Refried beans, gloves in case you have to pick up debris outside your house after this said disaster. Manual can opener. No good having cans with no manual can opener. Fruit snacks in case you got kids or for yourself. Energy bars. In this case, it happens to be an RX bar. But this is a meal in a container. It's got 3 egg whites, 6 almonds, 4 cashews, 2 dates, and just like Boulder likes, no BS. Okay, if you need to sanitize your water, you can either have the drop-in dissolvable to purify your water, or you can use a dropper with some bleach to sanitize your water. Don't forget, your water heater is a suitable source of water. If you have a 40-gallon water heater, you can utilize that. If you are without a water heater, say you have the kind that is heating your water on demand, well, you don't have that luxury anymore. Oh, happy birthday, Sparky Bear. Boulder, that's cool. That's good to go. Also, make sure you have the means of keeping warm. Blankets, hats, because the heat goes out, you're going to want it. You're going to need it. Gloves, scarf in case you have to go outside. Jackets, blankets, rubber tip gloves in case you got to pick up those other things. Sleeping bags. Sleeping bags can also be, if you're like, oh, we don't have enough blankets for all our guests, well, you bust out your sleeping bags. And like I said, blankets, another great thing. What I didn't bust out is your hand crank weather radio. It runs on either batteries, or it has solar cells on it, or it's hand crank. You left your bourbon at the store. Well, hey Boulder, you do what you gotta do, man. What's a CP? I don't get it, meat cutter. You gotta tell me what that is. So, a hydro. What's a hydro? Oh, CB radio, yes. You could have a CB radio is also an option, or if you happen to have a marine radio, you could use a marine radio in an emergency to notify somebody that you're having an issue. Or if you happen to have a shortwave radio. Shortwave radio, handheld radio, any one of those will work if you need to have a means of communication. Another issue is there might be pillaging in your neighborhood. So make sure you have a means of defending yourself as needed. So that might be a concern that you would have. Pillows, blankets, oh, CB and shortwave work really well. Well, with our CERT team that's here in town, their community, what they do is they bring their person with, yeah, exactly, 1911. They bring their person with the shortwave or ham radio or CB radio, and they put them on the tallest hill in the area so that they have the means of communicating, and it will have the most carry with their signal. Because with those kinds of communication, when you have the high ground, it has an opportunity to bounce a little further. Yeah, bullets and booze. Yes, absolutely. Stock up because you never know. Your neighbor might have the caliber you need, and they might have the alcohol you need, which the alcohol is also another one of those that you can use for wounds and those sorts of things, or pain if you needed to patch somebody up. See, Sovereign, that's awesome. You're on the top of 1,000-foot mesa. That's totally legit. Yeah, know your neighbors. Community's important. That's huge. Yes, lasers could be used for signaling. Signal lights. If you happen to know Morse code, that's also an awesome skill that you can use to communicate with your neighbors. A buddy of mine created a help or safe card on cardstock sign that you could put in the window of your house to let those that are coming to your aid, whether you need help immediately or whether you're okay and they can get back to you later. That's another way of communicating. Those that were in New Orleans used spray paint on the outside of their house to communicate whether they were okay or whether it was there were people living in the house or whether nobody was in the house or not. So you could use that as needed. Oh, your neighbors are the cliffs of insanity? Well, that doesn't give you many options. Now, you could also use steel-toed shoes if you have to go outside and remove any debris. Plastic, if you have any plastic to seal in case it's a gas leak or anything like that. Plastic over the windows, tape them up. That's a great option. Fireplace. If you have a gas fireplace, if the facilities are not cut off, your gas fireplace will work under those circumstances. Once your facility, once there's a gas leak in the neighborhood, you don't want to be the one still running gas and tapping the system. So under those circumstances, you're going to want to cut off your gas because somebody in the neighborhood's going to have a gas leak. Should there be a situation like that, yes, well water and Sovereign, in that case, you have a means of manually pumping that well water. And once you've pumped it out, you need to have that means of purification to make sure that that's actually doable under those circumstances. So I looked up some websites. We got ready.gov in case you want to build a bag. The Red Cross is also a site that works well under those kind of circumstances. You also have numerous prepper sites. A lot of these prepper sites provide a suitable list. Yes, Debbie, totally. Wool socks would be awesome. If you're a part of your local CERT team, they will be your allies. And I talked about that yesterday during the bug out bag creation. Yeah, ready.gov, the Red Cross. There was another site that is really valuable that I was looking at earlier, but I can't quite remember it right now. Point being, you got to make sure to maintain your security, your sanitation, your warmth, food. So as long as you got all those things, and make sure that wherever you're storing these things, it's accessible. You don't want your container in the garage underneath all your stuff that's stacked up in your garage. If you're doing that, and should that earthquake hit, your stuff's going to be buried, inaccessible, and not readily usable. You never know. Your pipes could burst in your garage, and then your kit's unavailable. It's not usable, unavailable. So it's also possible to have a few smaller kits just in case. And a lot of these materials were just in my house, within arm's reach. Doesn't mean you can't put another great spot to put a lot of these things, like your bug out bags and your bug in bags, is underneath your bed, so that you know where it is. It's readily available. Oh, 100 head of cattle? Well, yeah. I would imagine there's food and ammunition and water. Yeah, solar. If you needed to do solar distilling of your water, you could do that. If you have some clear plastic, you could do that in your backyard if you needed to. Don't bring a grill, charcoal or otherwise, inside your house for either heating or cooking. Bad idea, because the carbon monoxide fumes will be a problem, and you could start your house on fire. So if you're going to do any kind of cooking like that in a portable manner, like on a grill, or I have one of those, a lava grill. Cool thing about that is it has 3 different fuel sources. It uses wood, charcoal, or actual gas. Great little grill. In case something goes down, I can use wood, charcoal, or gas, and it'll do the job. You can also, under those circumstances, lava grill. Under those circumstances, you can do Dutch oven cooking. Or if you guys have seen those solar ovens, if you're in that kind of situation, a solar oven will come in handy. It's what they're using in people trying to barbecue in their tents. Yeah, solar oven you can use outside, and the sun will cook your food for you. So there are alternate means. If you happen to have a fire pit, that's another thing that you can manage to. You can cook on as needed if you need to. You guys saw my mess kit yesterday. Worst case, I'd get out my little mess kit, and I do actually have camping gear, and I have a camp stove. So worst case, I can get that out. If you have those little gas canisters, those will work really well. But you gotta kind of preserve how much you got as to whether or not you should be cooking much. Once again, you can't use them for heat. But if you all locate in one centrally located room, then you can maximize your body heat of everybody else. So, body heat's usable as a means of keeping each other warm. Those space blankets that I was talking about, you can use those indoors too. It's not just something if you get stuck outdoors and that's all you got. No, you can use a space blanket indoors. It's a great means of keeping warm, especially if you're away at, say, a school or a church or something like that. And if you happen to be at, say, a kid's school or what have you, be aware of what resources are around you, because you never know. Something else I didn't mention, make sure you have fire extinguishers in your house. More than one, as needed, in case there's a fire in your garage, fire in your kitchen. Any number of things could cause a fire. Yeah, solar electricity, hey, if it continues to work after your disaster, so be it. That's awesome. Yeah, make sure you have lighters. Little stick lighters. Or, worst case, hey, Brooke, I'm going to go get, no, actually I can't go get it. But one of those flint and steel. You can use one of those to start a fire outside, or you can use one in your kitchen if you're, for some reason, you're having a hard time getting your gas to light. You can use one if you have to. Yeah, matches, wooden matches are awesome. Wooden matches could save you in a trying time, depending on what it is. There are lists of everything you could possibly need for a bug-in situation. Decks of cards, board games, Dutch oven, yes, totally. Um, Scrabble, yeah, Debbie. If just have a means of entertaining one another, you play charades, just any number of things. And with your hand crank radio, you can hear how the rescuers are doing. You can hear, you can listen to the radio, regular radio. You can listen to weather radio. Oh yeah, deck of cards, Sparky, goes a long way because you can play a whole bunch of different kinds of card games. The funny thing is, electronics, well, no, not going to be working. Your internet's going to be down. There's a good chance your all those means of communication conveniences we have, they'll be down. Oh, Brooke. Well, sometimes you got to do. Yeah, those things will be gone in a disaster. So what does it matter? Oh, solar chargers. Yeah, that works. That totally works. That would be the thing. Now, hopefully, some of us bears are have our shortwave licenses. If not, look into getting it. It's not terribly expensive to get the FCC license. You just gotta study up, take it, and get your license. Yeah, shortwave. If you want to do shortwave radio. And you could be the source of communication for your neighborhood if you are the person operating shortwave radio. Nice. So the cool thing is, if you're the source, well, Debbie, that depends. That depends. That just means where you were when you got your license. I've never heard of anybody having to update their location after they have their license. So that's totally up to you. Once you get your license, and there's multiple bands that you can use depending on, you can use long wave, short wave, CB. CB does not require a license, but hardly anybody uses it now. So, yeah, I know, Debbie. I get it. You don't want to be tracked. You don't want them in your neighborhood. As soon as you fire up your radio, they're like, "Oh yeah, Debbie's broadcasting right now." So we totally know where she is. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I don't know if, hey Andrew J. Yeah, shortwave radio license. Totally, Brooke. I hope you're liking your new house, Brooke. That's awesome that you were able to join us. So guys, make sure, because you never know. You might have folks over during this disaster. So have a little bit of extra in the water, the food, the blankets. Never hurts to have a little bit extra until they can get their wits about them and get back to where they are, because they might be your neighbor from 6 blocks away, but the road is impassable. And once it's passable, you just got to. And I just read that it could potentially take 3 to 7 days for FEMA to respond. Hey, Steve, welcome. So now they're recommending be prepared for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Oh, absolutely, Sergeant. You're going to want folks to stand guard when you're sleeping, because sleep is going to be one of those things that's you're going to need. So yeah, active security, totally. Also make sure that, like we were talking about earlier, you know who your neighbors are, so that they're not the ones that are going to come try to steal your stuff. Yes, be aware of your supplies, your surroundings. One of the bigger things that we talked about is don't bust into your stash. Hey, I had sunscreen in my stash. And then decide, oh, I'm going to get that out and I'm going to go use it. Oh, yeah, stealing generators? Yeah, that's legit. And Debbie, security, that's legit. Just look up what happened during Katrina. Yes, Brooke, having a Bible around or books that you're wanting to read or Mad Libs or those kind of things to entertain each other, awesome. Definitely things that you need to think about and have available. Don't just like get your firearms out and not have them ready. Don't have your total stash of ammunition in your garage. Say, for example, the fire breaks out in your garage and your ammunition's completely buried underneath all the rubble. Well, now you got a problem. And hopefully you have time to unbury all your ammunition. But if you have some located in different parts of your house, that's advantageous. Because if one stash is compromised, you still have some available. A crossbow, yeah, that would be good. Guys, if we were Venezuela, yeah, a crossbow would be awesome. in case you have to hunt any local wildlife. But that 2 weeks of food, water, and all that, you got to make sure those things are available. Yes, throwing rocks at a target. Hatchet, multi-purpose, absolutely. I mean, yes, you may have to cut down the tree out of your yard and burn it. So be it. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. Yes, that's the other thing. Everybody's going to raid the grocery stores. As soon as the disaster hits, first they're going to raid the grocery stores, then they're going to raid the neighborhoods. So you got to make sure that security, and make sure you're nondescript. Make sure your house doesn't look any better than anybody else's. Don't completely clean up the outside of your yard during that disaster, because you don't want your house to be appealing to those that want to come pillage. Because, well, guess what? That's where they're going to come. But if your house looks fairly tore up, they're not going to think you have an advantage. Also, if you have blackout curtains, use them. We have blackout curtains in our house strictly for sleeping. Because, well, around here the sun stays up until like 9:45 in the summer. But what I would end up doing is I'd end up swapping out my curtains to my first floor instead of my second floor. If we're all sleeping in one room, I want to make it so that, yes, you can run Alex Jones for free. It's true. But you've gotten your neighbors together, then guess what? You can manage to hold off for a while. Share supplies, share ammunition. Yes, please like the stream. Thanks, Mr. Nicktown. I appreciate it. Please share it. So here we are, 30 minutes. And I started early so that I don't run into Dom's stream. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Dom should be streaming in a little bit. He's supposed to be streaming in like 15 minutes. Field of Bears probably streaming in a little while if we catch him. I know Steve's streamed last night and streaming lots. So guys, make sure we support our fellow bears. Support our friends. If you want to help support my stream, it's in the description. www.paypal.me/VeteranBear. I appreciate it. If you want to, cool. If not, no biggie. But hey, just support fellow bears. That's what we're here for. I'm glad 15 and 10 likes. Guys, I bet we could get those likes up to 15 if everybody punches that like button. So, to close this out, make sure, you guys, that we support our Second Amendment. That means practice. That means verify your ammunition. That means clean your weapon. Definitely clean your weapon. You don't want to use a weapon that's not gonna work at the time that you need it. Maintain your situational awareness, especially in a disaster. In my town, they have the giant voice that'll tell the whole town whether there's a disaster or not. Keep aware of those kinds of things, because you may hear one of those and you may not be at your house, but you're going to want to get to your house. Yes, stay armed. Definitely. Uphold our First Amendment, guys. Alex Jones has been banned. He's still hanging on. His app is at like #1. But guys, if we don't speak up, we're next. Owen will be next. And the rest of us will follow if we don't stand up for our rights. So, guys, quick review. Here's the items. There's lots of them. Make sure that you have a way of storing this stuff. Sure, you could keep it in the shed outside. That's also an option. It is a lot of items, Debbie. So with that, I appreciate you guys coming by. Support your community. And Brooke, thanks for coming, everyone. And you guys have a good weekend. I'll talk to you later. Bye now.